What's up, guys? Welcome back to the JP and Trav show. As always, it's your host with the most, JP. And to my right, I have my esteemed co-host, Travis J. Davidson. Travis, how you feeling, man?
Now I'm feeling great. Feeling great. We got NFL football back. You got the Belldozer catching a touchdown. Travis Kelce, who? What? Don't need him. Don't need him. Trade Travis Kelce. You got Blake Bell. That's all you'll ever need. So, really good day. Obviously, coming off a massive win,
Yeah.
historic in many ways, and then now getting into a matchup with the new ACC bound SMU Ponies, the SMU Mustangs, the Stangs. So, really excited to talk about this past game. They did all you can eat bone-in fried chicken down at the spot down here in downtown Tulsa. $13 comes with two sides and a roll, and you get either regular or spicy, and you get drums and thighs. And whew, I got after it. You would have been proud of my effort.
Oh yeah.
Best is the standard.
Best is the saying. It's a fact. All you can eat too is crazy. Yeah. It was It's been a great week. Obviously, we're gonna recap that game here in a little bit as we look forward to SMU. But as you guys can see, I'm in my school's gym. Actually, we had a big cross country event tonight. I have a large, campus that we can host a lot of big cross country events. I have a lot of woods out here, and so we host a lot of them. And so we just got finished up a little bit ago. I'm finishing my deposit, so you'll see me counting some money as we talk tonight. But yeah, it's good to be back. And man, what better way to start off? And let me address this real quick too. Yes, we went live even during NFL opening night because porque no los dos. Why not both? You can do both. You can do JP and Trash show and still have the Chiefs and Lions game on. Halftime's just finishing anyway, so it'll be okay. We gonna watch it too. You know what I mean? I'm sure Trav got it on.
Yeah, I
So
just saw the Lions pick off Patrick Mahomes and return it for pick six. So we're tied up 14-14.
was it a pick six now? Wow.
Well, it was tipped. It wasn't really his fault, but that's not the way I'm going to
Okay.
tell it. So,
Okay.
Yeah, TJ, I called New Riff today. They gave me the marketing person's voicemail, left a voicemail. I'm going to call again tomorrow. Trying to set up that remote in Cincinnati. So
Gonna be a good time.
likely got the place for the pregame set, but got to do the postgame. So those of you that will be in Cincinnati, we're working on it. But yes, opening night, it's football, baby. I mean, here's the thing. You got football Thursday. You got football on Friday Night Lights. You got, Friday might be in Norman. Saturday, you got football. Sunday, you got football. Monday, you got football. I think the Big 12 is going to start playing on Tuesdays, maybe Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Just completely give up on the weekend. I think Tuesday afternoons is the time slot that your mark is targeting. But yeah, so yeah. Andy got off early Friday, the Cincinnati weekend. The vibes are immaculate.
Big facts. Trav, let's go ahead and talk about, and I know it's a little bit, we're not too far from it, but obviously we're a few days now removed from the absolute dismantling that Oklahoma did of Arkansas State. And, I don't know if, and I know, Trav had mentioned on Twitter that we have some narratives to squash. I know he's going to bring some of those up. Here's mine to squash. We got to stop with it was just Arkansas State stuff because I get it. And what I'm not saying is, because we beat Arkansas State 7-0 means we're going to dismantle every single team we play. But we're supposed to dominate teams, and that's what we've always said. And then we've got on here the last 2 years, Trav and I have, and every time we barely beat a team by 7 or 14, or even 18, a team that we felt like we should have beaten by 30, or maybe the spread was 30, we complain and we say, we should have destroyed that team. Why is this? Why is that? And then when Oklahoma comes out and destroys the team in all three phases of the game, I don't care how bad you think the team was. I mean, Baylor lost to Texas State. I'm not saying Texas State's a slouch per se, but Baylor shouldn't have lost to them, right? Like, we had to take care of business, and they did, to the tune of 73-0. Like, they did everything we wanted them to do at the time. We still need to work on some things here or there, but I'm just never going to get behind well, it was just Arkansas State, so I'm going to, be Debbie Downer about it. That's just not me. Trav, how you feel, man?
Yeah, it's been a little annoying, right? I mean, you see other teams. I mean, OU is not the only team that plays a slouch in week one. We have played a lot of slouches in week one and not looked that good. Not looked that deep, not looked that physical, that fast, that strong, that balanced, that efficient, that, competitive, if you will. Like, we haven't done that. And what is starting to annoy me, and I get where people are coming from on this, but when people say, "Oh, I won't get excited about this team until Texas. We beat Texas. We can learn nothing about this team until Texas." Like, what? That doesn't make any sense. If we come out, I'm not going to say you can tell whether or not you're a national title contender in week one, but if you watched that team, we didn't look that good against any team all year last year.
Yeah.
All year. The year before.
Yep.
We didn't. Lincoln consistently let teams like that either back into the game or gave up cheap touchdowns. Like, we didn't do that. We continued to fight through. We continued to rotate. We had guys playing in the fourth quarter that might play because we're actually still trying to work through a lot of our depth chart, competitions, because we're really talented right now. We got a lot of young guys that came in hungry and ready to work. So it's just Arkansas State. I don't care. It's 73-0. Do you think that Baylor would like to trade positions with us right now, saying, "Oh, it's just Texas State"? Yeah, they lost. You think Texas Tech would have rather just beat Wyoming? And Wyoming, I think, is better than Arkansas State, but still, like, there are teams that lost to cupcakes this week. So should we have beaten them? Yes, but we doubled the spread. Doubled a big spread. The biggest spread of our year, we doubled it. So that's why I pay attention to the spread a lot, because I find a lot of value in it. When people say, "Hey, we win by 50." If the spread was 36.5, Vegas knows what they're doing. And that's why they build all these big shiny buildings in the desert. Like, they know what they're doing. So you get that, you extend the lead in the second half. Your backup quarterback is quite literally perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like, if you say you can't learn anything from that game, then it says more about your lack of ability to learn than it does the lack of ability of that game to teach, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And the chat is talking about it right now. Like, we played, almost 90 players, Trav? 90?
We played 87, and there's only 85 scholarships.
That's crazy. We played two walk-offs.
And some people were held out for injury. Keep that in mind. Like, scholarship players were held out for injury.
And there was no drop off in that. Like, there's competitive depth, right? Like, it's what you need to be an elite program, and you beat teams like that. I don't care, like you said, like we've said, we don't care. It's Arkansas State, 73-0. It's 73-0. Now we got to continue to be consistent, and we're gonna preach that every week. But we're not gonna sit here and nitpick 73-0. Speaking of 73-0, Trav, what was your biggest takeaway from the game? Give me your biggest takeaway offensively. Give me your biggest takeaway defensively. And chat, you guys do that too, and we'll get you in on this.
Okay, so for those of you that have rivals, shout out mom. What's up, mom? Love you. Um, with that, and I saw my sister in here too. Shout out Ashley, love
Hey,
you too.
Ashley, what up?
Um, so what stood out to me, I wrote again for those of you that are OU Insider members. Hopefully you read my article last week, the Cooking with Grill Boy feature that I do during the season. I brought up how Arkansas State, they felt really good about their corner depth, really their secondary depth overall, but their corner depth. They brought in a 2-year starter from UCF to be one of their starters, and then they had a 4-year starter on the other side. They
Mm-hmm.
had good depth there. They were excited about that. I figured that that would mean that they would be weaker against the run, and that makes a lot of sense until the game happened, and I thought, okay. What actually happened was they're so confident in their corners, they're going to leave them on islands and just say, hey, you know what? If you can beat basically our 2 best players on defense consistently, and we're going to sell out on the run, then fine, you'll beat us. So that's what they did, right? I mean, they start the game. Dylan goes, I think we go run, we go bubble screen, run, and then when everybody's sucked up and those safeties pull up and they crash, you get Andrel Anthony on a deep ball, and Dylan Gabriel puts it in the perfect spot. So that's kind of what I took away from it was you can talk about, oh man, well, the run game, we didn't average 5 yards a carry. Nobody broke off big runs. That's because when you saw them get to second levels, like the safeties were already down there.
Yep.
They sold out on the run entirely. They crowded the box. They were consistently running against 8, 9-man boxes and
Yep.
just leaving their corners on islands, which they trust their corners. But Jackson and Dylan just dotted them up. And they said, we're going to live and die with that. And they ended up dying by it. So
Yep.
that's what I liked was they sold out to take away the run, and our quarterbacks were money all day.
Yeah. No, I agree completely. And I saw, believe it or not, I saw a Texas fan on Twitter this week trying to say, well, you guys only averaged like 4.5 yards per carry. And I was like, okay, so you just looking at stats now. You didn't even watch the game. First of all, we still rushed for over 200 yards. Everything was fine with the running game. But as you said, if you watched the game, you saw the boxes that they was going up against. You saw what they were doing, right? You saw why Jackson Arnold and Dylan Gabriel carved them up. Why Dylan Gabriel had over 300 yards before halftime, right? And Dylan Gabriel, he's on the money. He was on the money, dog. And I
That
know
was it.
there's
That was his best game in an OU uniform.
it was, it was, and there are some out there, Travis, who would try to say, oh, he missed the deep ball to Andrew Anthony a couple of times, and that's why we had a defensive pass interference, and he can't do that against other teams. All that stuff. I'm just like, I, you're gonna miss deep balls occasionally, but if he misses it and it's a pass interference, like in my opinion, that's where you probably want to miss would be short rather than long, because long you overthrow, which was his issue last year. There's nothing for it. But if Andrew has to come back to the ball a little bit, there's worse things that can happen. But other than those 2 throws, if you want to say that, which there could have been any reason for that, my man was on the money with deep balls, right? A back shoulder throw to Jaden Gibson, that ball down the sideline to Nick Anderson. Even the short throws to Drake Stoops on the screen, right? To Gavin Freeman on the little out route, 2-3 yard out route that he did before he scored, or when he scored, it was like 30-0, I think. Like those balls were on the money. They were in stride. They didn't have to worry about stopping. Like it was like you said, by far his best performance in an OU uniform. I think the only thing offensively that rivals it for me was Texas Tech last year. But even then, he just looked different, man. He did. He looked in complete control and ready to roll. That was my biggest takeaway offensively, and then defensive. Did you say your defensive takeaway yet?
No, but it's kind of similar.
Yeah,
So they were, max protect, right? They were putting 7, 8 dudes to block 4 dudes. Well, they wanted to test our corners, and our corners got their head around. Gentry looked good. Gentry looks massive. Like I've known Gentry a long time. He's been pretty skinny. That
yeah,
dude is put on some muscle. So he looked really good. Woody looked really good. Can't wait to talk about them more as it pertains to next week's game, of course. But um, yeah, I mean, it really just that our secondary played really well. Peyton
yeah.
Bowen, had a big hit. Reggie Pearson had the big hit. You brought in Reggie to hit people, and Reggie hit people.
Oh, he
So
hit people.
my thing is, you get Robert Spears Jennings just got cleared this week, so he's going to be back. They're working him back into practice. You've got so much depth back there. Key looked better. I
Yeah,
mean, and people are pushing him. I mean, when you have, when you're 3 deep at safety, like, I mean, that's impressive. We have not had that in a minute, guys. We've not had that in a minute. And then you look at the corners and Kanai Walker and Josiah Wagner and Kendall Dolby and these kind of guys, Makari Vickers. I mean, those are capable dudes too. So if Gentry keeps that spot up, Woody keeps that spot up, you can rotate in comfortably because what we're going to do to a lot of these teams that don't have that depth, we're going to try and force them into changing personnel
yeah,
and then keep the personnel the same on our end the entire time and force them to either call a timeout to get new bodies in there or just essentially lose the possession. So having that depth is so important. Somebody had pointed out that it may be concerning that our leading tackler only had 4 tackles, and I think that's the greatest thing we could ask for. A lot of people look for stats, right? Oh, we didn't get enough sacks. Okay. Oh, our leading tackler didn't have a ton of tackles. Guys, look at the results. Look at the results. We held them to 46% passing completions or
yeah,
completion percentage. We held their best. Their running back Zach Wallace is a guy who came over from UT Martin. He came off, I think it's 2 years ago, 2021. He rushed for like 806, I think, with like 15 touchdowns. This past year, he rushed for over 1,000 yards with 16 touchdowns. We held him to 10 yards on 7 carries. 7 carries led the team in total carries for Arkansas State. So, I mean, that kind of stuff, like great run defense, held them below 50 yards. I mean, it was a complete and total effort. And yeah, like I said, I mean, sell out, stop the run, stop Zach Wallace. You all saw what I put on Twitter and my Instagram with, Jordan Kelly getting all the way across, lining up on the, in front of the right
yeah.
tackle, getting in front of the right tackle, right guard, across the center, and getting Zach Wallace going left on a 3rd down, held him back out of, and they missed that field goal to preserve the shutout. I mean, we've had good defensive performances before where it was just total ineptitude on the other side. Like this was like Arkansas. I think Arkansas State will win 4 or 5 games last year. They'll win more games than they won last year, which was more games than they won the year before. It's just they're very young. Butch Jones has recruited the top class in the Sun Belt the last 2 years. They've got transfers from Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, or Ohio State, former 5-star, former 4-star, UCF starting corner. I mean, they've got dudes, but I mean, it looked really good, man. Looked really, really good.
Yeah, I agree, man. Um, Sheila, what you mean? Like, is that a negative way? Like, I mean, I don't feel like we even
Nah,
sunshine pumping right now. I feel like we
no,
just
I don't think Sheila means it negatively,
we
but
we speaking facts. Like we speaking facts. It's the truth. We looked good. It's okay to say that. I know we didn't play anyone. Who was that? Mr. Chuck. But you want to look like that when you're playing those type of teams, and we can all agree that when we played those type of teams in years past, we have not looked like that. Now we still have plenty of opportunities to prove ourselves, and all of us know that last year we went 3-0, and then stuff hit the fan. Like that's a fact too. So like we do need to be cautious. Yet at the same time, we can talk about the noticeable difference that we see. And the last comment I have to make, Trav, and then if you have something else you want to mention, you can. That boy G Freaky. Woo man! As soon
Yeah,
as he
he's
touched
good,
that
man. They tried to
ball,
tell us all off season, didn't they? They tried to
oh,
tell
they
us.
did. They did, man. Like, and it was so electric. Like, as soon as he touched that ball, I was like, he hit the 50. I was like, he might be gone. And that little move he made at the end, just a whoop, Chris Berman, whoop. Oh man, it was beautiful. And that man's gonna be cooking defenders all year. Him and Drake Stoops in the slot is nasty.
Yeah, Stoops was having a heck of a game before he nicked up that shoulder a little bit, which he'll be fine. No, but it was. We're deep at the position. Jaquez Petaway obviously got a lot of easy stuff. 9 catches. He looked good, after the catch. But G Freaky, man, I mean, he's the real deal. It wasn't a situation where it was a bunch of gimmicky stuff. Like they lined him up. Like there was a third down that he picked up, like second quarter, maybe mid second quarter, that he
Mhm.
needed to get to the sideline, and one guy had him dead to rights, and he shook him off and was able to get upfield and get the first down. Like the dude's a playmaker. Had 4 catches in the first quarter, I think, or
Yep.
4 touches. He had 4 touches in the first quarter and over 100 yards. I mean, obviously one was the punt return, which made up for most of that yardage, but 3 of those weren't. So they want to get him the ball. They they're going to use their depth and go side to side a ton. That's what they did. They went side bubble screens, zone read type stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the thing. Last year, like, yeah, we started 3-0, but how many snaps did the starters have to play? Because they said we
Man,
simply just didn't have anybody else behind them that had any clue what they were doing.
talk about it.
I mean, that's part of it. Is Stutzman was still having to play late in the games. Like Bowman was still having to play late in the games. Downs was still having to play late in the games. So part of the argument that people have about Ethan Downs and him racking up numbers is, well, yeah, he played more defensive snaps than anybody else in the conference. Well, it's like, yeah, that's a problem. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, he was able to produce doing it, but that's a problem. Like, that's why I like the idea of, um, the idea of leading tackler only had 4 tackles. That means that we just played a lot of people. We did not play that many people last year in these first 3 games. And you're getting off the field.
Yeah.
I mean, defense had like 50 snaps or something like that.
Yep.
Like that's 2 drives against Army a couple of years ago. Yeah, Jacob, pull that up if you don't mind. But yeah, it was a very positive game. It's again, if you can't learn something from it, that means that it's not the game's inability to teach, it is your inability to learn from what you saw. You can't learn that we're a title contender, but you can learn when you're not, and the jury's still out on that one.
Yeah. Yep. And it was just, yeah, it was great to see it. Obviously, again, we can mention that the zone defense certainly needs some shoring up, but some of that just takes in-game reps, even if you're against other teams, right? And I think that'll come. They got the ball in their hands quick. I think there'll be more opportunity for pass rush this weekend, which we'll get into here in just a second. Hey guys, remember, please hit that like button. It helps us out, helps people know we're in the algorithm, helps us get more views ultimately. If you just take 5 seconds. Not even 5. 1 second. All it takes to hit that like button right now. Just do it before you do anything else. Right now, just hit it. Bang. All right. Now, week 2, SMU. It rhymes a little bit. Sound good. Week 2,
Week
SMU.
2, SMU.
Yeah. Um, what do we feel like OU needs to do to have a convincing victory? Because again, we don't want to just. We're not trying to just win by 14. What's the spread? Is it 18? Is that what the spread is right now?
16 and a half.
16 and a half. Okay. So like, I don't think anybody's gonna be satisfied. OU goes out there and wins by 2 touchdowns. I think most fans probably prefer if they win by like 4 or more. Granted, they would maybe feel continually satisfied with what they saw last week, and if we were able to put on a performance where we win by 28 plus. What do you feel like you need to see OU do in order for them to have a convincing victory in your mind? And chat, you guys can add to this too.
I mean, more of the same, right? I need them to continue to flex their depth a little bit. We're playing another team that's not very deep. I
Yeah,
wrote about this in this week's Grill Boy article over on OU Insider. They're not very
no,
deep. They've got a lot of transfer talent, and they've got Preston Stone, who a lot of people are really high on. I'm not that particularly high on him. I got a chance to watch I rewatched the SMU La Tech game.
hmm
Yeah, if we go out there and hold their running game down and force them to the air, I think we're going to be in really good shape. Um, so I think selling out on the run, and I want to see. He's only started 2 other games. He started one game due to injury as a redshirt freshman, and he's currently a redshirt sophomore. He just started his first game. He's never played in front of a crowd
yeah,
like he's going to play in Oklahoma.
yep,
He can say all those things about, well, football's football, crowd doesn't matter. No, crowd absolutely matters. You just don't know it until you walk into Norman at night. So with that, I don't think, like I said, I think if we sell it on the run, we rotate those fresh defensive tackles in, hold them to a low rushing number, hold them below 4.5 yards a carry. That's what I'll say. Throw them below 4.5 yards a carry. And I think they're going to go to the air, and they're going to go to the air often. Here's the thing. A lot of people, even J.D. Pickell, actually, I'll let you tell me first before I start in on this. But what do you think OU needs to do in order to have a convincing victory?
yeah. I mean, I think we need to see exactly what we saw from the offense last week. And I'm not saying that. Obviously, I know they were vanilla, but just the crispness of it, the execution side of it, whatever they're doing to execute it to perfection. And that's exactly what we saw from the offense last week. We need that to continue to hum. And defensively, man, I think that there's going to be a lot of opportunity to get to Preston Stone. Their offensive line is decent. Um, they're not world beaters, but they're decent. But their tackles, I watched the game a little bit too. Their tackles, they can give some bend now. Like Trace Ford and Rondell Bothroyd. I don't know if they're gonna plan to throw PJ in there too, but if he holds onto the ball a little bit too long, he might be in for a long day. And as somebody else mentioned in the chat, he threw a couple prayers up versus um, who did they play?
La Tech,
La Tech, Louisiana Tech.
who is
Yeah,
not good.
yeah. He threw a
Not
couple
good.
prayers up, and some of them balls, like there was one, I don't remember if it was before halftime or second quarter, maybe it was third, that he threw it like almost into double coverage, and it's like you said, how did the
His
safeties not?
first pass that was past like the line of scrimmage was into double coverage because they had kind of got behind the sticks because all of his passes early. And when you look at his stat line, this is what bothers me. You look at his stat line, he had 3 of the push passes like in the first quarter where you've got a guy coming in motion across, they snap it to him, and he just like
Okay,
pops
yeah,
it back out. It's a handoff is what it
yeah,
is. But when the guy grabs it, like they counted those as completed passes for him.
yeah,
So Like when you look at his final stat line, you have to look at like, okay, 3 or 4 of those aren't actual passes. On those other ones, like he's throwing behind the line of scrimmage. Like I think in the first series, I think he probably had like 3 or 4 completions for a total of maybe 1 yard because
Okay.
so many of them started behind the line of scrimmage or ended in like a 5-yard loss or whatever. That's the thing. When they're running a lot of those crossing things, our defensive ends, our edges have to get upfield because they'll run right into you. And I'm sure that's all over the film room right now. But if they can get up the field quickly, then they're going to have an opportunity to catch them, clothesline them right as they're coming, getting the ball. So, but yeah, they had a 3rd and 19 on that opening drive, and he threw a ball, airmailed it over his receiver directly into double, almost triple coverage. The safety should have come down with it. So, here's the thing, everybody. You'll hear this a lot. He's the highest rated recruit in modern era history for SMU.
Mm-hmm.
So, the modern era started in 2001, we'll call it. So the modern recruiting era starts in 2001. JP, guess how many blue chip recruits they have in the last 22 years in the modern era? Since 2001, guess how many blue chip recruits they have?
SMU?
That they have signed. SMU. Guess how many blue chip recruits? 4-star and 5-star recruits they've signed since 2001.
8.
4.
4. Half of that.
2 of them are on this team. A 4-star tight end. It's a good-looking athlete. Can't block much, but really good-looking athlete. And then Preston Stone, who is the top one. Preston Stone was like a top 120 player or something like that, 125. But no, they've had 4 total blue chips recruited to SMU, signed to SMU. Transfers, they got way more. They got 5-star Kamar Wheaton. They got Jalen Knighton, a guy they call Rooster. They've got, obviously, L.J. Johnson, the Texas A&M running back. They've got 6 players that came with Rhett Ashley from Miami. Rhett Lashley. Sorry, that was weird. Rhett Lashley was the offensive coordinator at Miami and then is now the head coach at SMU. So he took 6 Miami players with him. So not very Brent Venables like. Yeah. And then you've got, granted, a little bit different, but then they've got 6 former Texas Longhorns on the roster. Then you've got, obviously, Corey Roberson, who had a big game, with his pick 6. And then you have 2 A&M transfers. You've got, I think, a Georgia transfer in there. Like they've got some dudes through the portal, but they don't have enough talent to make up for that 2nd string, 3rd string type situation.
Right.
Chuck, I've always said stars matter.
That is a fact. You have always said
we
that.
say that about specifically Texas because they famously do not develop them. So when you say we, always say it's not about the stars. When you say we, you must got a mouse in your pocket because I certainly am I am heavily in the stars matter crowd. Oh, good. TJ, I'm so glad you brought up 5-star Jordan Hudson. Our friend JD Piquel said the way that you get an upset is you find a matchup that works. So when you look at Jordan Hudson's stat line, he had 2 catches for 73 yards, which is impressive.
Yeah.
Right? Only 2 catches, 73 yards, big touchdown, right? The only problem is if you actually watch his 67-yard touchdown, he 2-hand shoves his defender to the ground. Somehow a flag comes in, but it's not on him. The announcers even say they replay it like 4 times, even after the point after. They go, yeah, I don't know how they got away with this one. This is clearly offensive pass interference. I mean, he pushed the La Tech defensive back down, caught the ball, walked into the end zone unencumbered. So that means outside of the one play that he should have been called OPI on, Jordan Hudson got called for, or got one catch for 6 yards. So this is the guy that everybody says, oh man, you got to worry about this matchup, this Preston Stone, Jordan Hudson matchup, man. If SMU is going to lean on that. What? What matchup? They didn't do anything last game against La Tech. You think they're going to do it against Woody Washington and Gentry Williams?
Right.
Good luck. Billy Bowman back there hanging out. You think they're going to do that with R. Mason Thomas and Bothroyd and Ethan Downs and Trace Ford and all these boys coming off the edge? Yeah, stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
They're licking their chops.
It's just lazy to be like, ooh, this Preston Stone guy, he's the real deal. Well, he looked like crap against La Tech for the most part. And then, oh, this Jordan Hudson, it's a matchup they can take advantage of. Well, they didn't take advantage of against Louisiana Tech. So what makes you think they're going to just all of a sudden be world beaters? You think there's going to be Burrow Jefferson of 2019 all over again? Like,
yeah,
simply not the case.
And I mean, that would. I think ultimately it comes down to, you just doing their job. Like you said, they may have some talent, but they don't have enough talent to run with us. And that's what you have to prove. They have to run them off the field. They have to dominate them in every phase of the game. And if I'm not mistaken, Trav, phone fell. Wow. If I'm not mistaken, y'all gotta forgive me. I don't have my normal setup right now. Did Peyton Bowen not talk a little trash this week?
Okay, I mean, he was being honest, just saying they haven't seen a defense like ours, which is true.
Hey, sounds very Austin Kendall-ish. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, it's true that they've not seen a defense like ours.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Peyton's got that dog in him. There's been there's been no question about that he's got that dog in him. He's always talked his stuff. But I mean, it's simply true. Even his offensive coordinator was saying it about Brent Venables' defense. He's like, look, they're very multiple, because somebody asked him, said, hey, what can you learn? Corey Roberson was on their team last year. What can you learn? And he's like, against the Brent Venables defense, not much. He's like, they're very multiple. If it were a two call defense, then, maybe. But he's like, against the Brent Venables defense, where they're so multiple, they do so many different things out of those looks. Like, there's no advantage. Like, he's like, and he said in his presser, he said, this is going to be the hardest team to run against that we're going to see all year. Yeah. Like, they understand, like, they aren't getting caught up on this, they clearly watch the game. They aren't getting caught up on this 6 and 7, bad defense, this, that, and the other. Like, and also, these are guys that have been around. Like, Lashley has gone up against Brent Venables a lot. He is very aware of trying to crack a Brent Venables defense. Yeah. Like, all these, like, all these guys, like, they know. Like, the coaches in this country, maybe not some of the national reporting got, because they just kind of look at box scores and think, oh, last year's team's probably this year's team. No. Like, the coaches in this league, they know that Brent Venables knows how to coach defense. So,
yeah.
I got a text from somebody asking if you're getting Nigel's NIL bag ready. He's counting all his cash to head down to Melissa.
Yeah, I am. I'm preparing to throw it at him. Coach has told me I needed to be ready. So, nah, man, this wouldn't be enough for a week for him. Let's just be honest. This is small school money. Small school money, but we'll take it. Um,
Jet, on the 3-man front stuff, like Brent thinks he can. I mean, Brent believes in a 4-man front. Like he truly does want to run with 4 men, unless you have a monster first round pick nose tackle type guy in the middle. You know, the 4-man front with him, if you have the personnel to run it, he likes it. But also the 3-man allows you to disguise where your fourth is coming from. So you still have you're still rushing 4 a lot of the time. It's just 3 men don't have their hand in the dirt. So Brent likes to disguise a lot of his stuff. So while he does rush 4 most times, pre-snap, there may just be 3 dudes with their hand in the ground.
yeah.
You just maybe send a blitz from one of the linebackers somewhere else, something like that. Like you may have an edge just standing up, you know. But I wouldn't get caught up in the 3-man front stuff because it's not quite as simple as that. Just because you see 3 men doesn't necessarily mean that there's 4 men rushing, because Brent typically always brings 4 or more.
Yeah. Now, Trav, I'm interested before we get into the rest of Q&A, and even before we do that, we'll do a score prediction. I am interested though, because I know you said before the show started that we had some narratives to dismiss. Have we dismissed narratives yet?
Yeah, I mean, really, it was the Preston Stone and Jordan Hudson thing.
Okay,
I
that's
think
what I thought.
I think it's lazy. I think it's lazy. And then the other thing was the inevitability of us saying, "Oh, when can you really trust this team? Oh, is it through 3-0? Well, we were 3-0 last year. Well, it doesn't matter. Like if you go out and you win this game, so we're favored to win by 16.5. If you go win this game by 30, 40, like that's significant.
Yeah.
That is worth believing in. So, like, with that, like, allow yourselves to be happy. Allow yourselves to believe. Allow yourselves to sip the Kool-Aid a little bit. Allow yourselves to have fun with it. Like, in Parker's write-up, he described it as in the How I Met Your Mother, like, just be cool. Like, can't you just be cool for once? Like, you don't always have to be the one that, while everybody else is celebrating a massive victory and having fun, whatnot, sitting there saying, not me. Not me. I believed last year. Not going to get the best of me. I'm not celebrating.
Yeah.
Like, there's no fanhood badge for not being impressed with your team. Like, nobody's like, oh man, Billy's a way bigger fan because he wasn't even happy about 73 up. So it's just because he's got higher standards than all these other fans. Like, there's no award, there's no medal, there's no badge. We're not going to ship you a trophy for the not being happy about a victory. Like, stop trying to get one.
It makes me so mad, Trav. Like, these people be out here like, this is Oklahoma. Don't you know that? Like, we have standards here. I'm like, don't we all feel that? What are you talking about? Like, just because we
Right.
decide
I'm
to
still
be
going to be happy
positive.
when we win 73-0.
Thank you. Like
I'm going to keep being happy.
I can't smile. We can't be super happy that we won 73-0. No, we got to be. No.
No, I got to get wrapped up on two underthrows.
If it was Texas, they would have been picked off.
Well, it wasn't.
People kill me.
But that's the thing. Allow yourselves to be happy.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Allow yourself to be happy. If we go out and beat SMU, which I expect to do, allow yourself to be happy. Like, it's just so weird, all this like infighting after the game. Like, we got people calling the post game show, whining about the pass rush. And I'm like,
That's unbelievable.
bro, what are we doing? I'm like, did y'all not watch the game? Watch the game.
Right.
Like, Trace Ford, Rondell Bothroyd, those guys consistently won. Consistently won. And they just there was no dropbacks. They got rid of the ball extremely quickly.
Yeah.
Like, that's what they wanted to do. They had a game plan. They knew. Butch Jones said it after the game. They were faster than we even thought. So we needed to get the ball out. And we held them to under 50 yards rushing and under 50% completion percentage. And yet people want to call and complain.
Yeah.
When will it ever be enough? 100-0? Like,
Probably not. Until we win a national championship, Travis. That's our
you're
goal.
right, because we better not be happy until then.
We have standards here in Oklahoma. We go 11-1. We gotta be pissed off. Let's talk score prediction. What are
Let's
we?
do it.
What are we going with?
You
last
go
week,
ahead first, and I want the chat to fill it out too.
Last week, what was your score prediction last week? I said 48-7.
I think I went 52-10.
52-10. Obviously, we should have put a 0 in there somewhere. But
Right, gee.
I'm gonna go 52-14.
52-14.
52-14.
I gotta look at my.
That's my score prediction. Y'all write that down.
Somebody
bring it back next week.
Consistent.
TJ, somebody.
Write some of these down. You got a pen right there, right?
Yeah, I need some paper though.
What's that?
Right. Huh? This is my deposit. These my deposit slips. I'm not gonna see these. It's going to my accounting department.
We'll just write them on there, take a picture of it, and then scratch them out and be like, "Oh, sorry, I couldn't count them correctly." Let me see what I predicted in my article so I can stay consistent. I said 48-17. I don't really think we give up 17, to be honest, but 48-17. Their offensive coordinator, he said after the game or in media availability this week that they looked. How did he say it? A bit less enthusiastic, less energetic in the second half. Once the students left the game, student section left the game, which there weren't that many people at the SMU game anyway. So you probably noticed when the students left the game because there was about 4 people left in the stadium. Like they started to kind of let up a little bit. They lost the second half. I mean, SMU fans kept on saying our defense scored more than their offense in the first half. Well, boys, they play both halves in the ACC, so you might want to get ready for that. Clemson might not, but like with that, they lost the second half, 14-7. So, like that shows me that they couldn't really keep up that intensity. More importantly, B, they don't have the depth at all. So I see this as a game where, regardless if it's close at halftime, I think OU really pulls away in the second half.
What do you think a halftime score would be?
I could see a halftime score being 28-14, something like that.
Okay.
Maybe 24-14.
Yeah. Then pull away.
Yeah, and the second half gets ugly on them.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I'd be interested to see kind of what happens in the first quarter. I think that'll be obviously SMU's going to come with a script. And so it'll be interesting to see what scripted plays they have and whatnot, even for us, if we can score fast, score early, That's going to be good
Well,
for
what's going to
us.
be interesting, what's going to be interesting to me is in most situations we get out to a big lead, right? Like this always happened under Lincoln, and it happens to most schools. Big lead by halftime, put in the backups. Backups give up a couple scores, so it ends up
Yeah.
being 35-0 in the first quarter, and then the game ends like 42-10 or 42-21 or something like that, right? But my thing is, our second team coming in fresh is going to be better than one of the two teams, the two versions of the opposing team that they're going to see, right?
Yeah.
So, like a team that's battered by our first team in the first half, and then goes out against our second teamers in the second half, but the second teamers are energized, they're going to be better. If it's just second string on second string, they're going to be better. So I feel like OU is going to be much better in the second half of this game than you would typically see from a from a typical team, if you will. I know that sounds weird, but
Yeah.
that's how.
No, I rock with it. It makes sense, and that's where our depth gets to show up, right? And where we get to flex our muscle in that way. That's why we should defeat SMU the way we should. They may give us a fight for a little bit, but we got to put them away. Period. That's what it means.
Right.
Hey guys, we got 10 minutes left. Left, excuse me. Um, 10 minutes left. Hey, um, shout out to Zach Bryan, free my man. I don't know what's going
Free
on
my man Zach. He ain't done
over
nothing
there.
wrong.
He did nothing. I don't know what's going on over there in Bonita, but y'all better let him go.
But I'm sure
Um,
he didn't do nothing wrong. He got framed.
he got free. Hey, y'all ask a couple questions before we get out of here. And what's the score of the Lions Chief game? I'm on my phone, so I don't know.
Kansas City 20, Detroit 14. 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Detroit got the ball.
It's a good game.
I tell you what, Detroit trying to eke this thing out.
Yeah, they're trying to say, hey,
It's day 5. Nigel will commit at his game, so it'll be in the evening.
okay. Next for commits. Well, tomorrow, probably, hopefully.
Right, and then October 12th is Daniel Akinkumi. Who knows when Grant Brooks or Michael Boganowski will pop. If they join the class, Danny Okoye could be in by the end of the month.
Yeah.
Man, you handle that money, man, like crazy. Be counting, flipping, stacking.
Hey,
Tell you what, man.
I wish that
Yes, I believe Okoye moves it up from October, personally. I think top 3. I don't think he can. I think his top 3 will come out probably tomorrow or the next day. I don't know that for sure, but it feels like it, the way he's been tweeting about it. Yes, I think Barnes will lead the team in carries again Saturday.
OU fans
I
take
think
it.
they will. I think it'll cool off a little bit. It's a night game. They want to see the lights. Stag over Weller 12. Weller 12 is over Oaked. And I'm a proof snob.
Everybody trying to get you to talk about your boy, Marcus Major.
Marcus Major did very well. I'm glad he's healthy. He's a good running back when he's healthy. I just hope he stays healthy. Oh, Detroit! Hold on to the ball. Detroit's in the red zone.
The way Drum was talking sounded like Okoye was almost a silent commit from his official.
Who knows? OU has a chance at a top 7 class. We'd have to flip some people to get top 5.
What are we? Oh, that's not a question. Trav, you still there? Looks like we may have lost Trav for a second. Um, Y'all go ahead and ask a couple more questions here before we get out. Try to get Trav back, see what happened to him. But um, I'm looking forward to this weekend. I am. I'm looking forward to under the lights, getting those LEDs moving again. It's been a minute since we've seen those, and hopefully the boys come to play. They come to knock out some Mustangs. Got about 5 more minutes here. Sawchuk will lead us in carries. Man, I'm excited, guys, to see Gavin Sawchuk. I am. I am. I am used to kind of big stacks. And most of y'all know I'm an athletic director out here, and my school just decided really to try to come to the 21st century in terms of digital stuff. So, but unfortunately tonight, if anybody else, was experiencing this, whether you own a business or maybe you're involved in athletics too, both square readers I have were not functional. So that was fun. I had about 1,200 people on my campus tonight, and I unfortunately was not able to use any credit card machine. So cash counting it is. Um, you're always welcome, TJ. You know that. You know that. Hoping Trav can pop on back here and finish us out. I'm not sure what happened to my man. Maybe his phone died. I'm not gonna lie, Topher. I'm not up to date on Jaden Hamlin. I don't know that name. Um, maybe I should be, but I'm not. So I'm not gonna answer that question. Listen, I'm not opposed. I'm not opposed to doing a Friday show. I talked to Trav about that. For those of y'all that don't know, TJ, me, and Trav about to be together in Cincinnati in a couple weekends, 2 weeks basically from today or from tomorrow. It's gonna be a fun time, but I don't know, man. It's a good question. Guess we're gonna see. Talk to YouTube, man, because I applied for super chats a long time ago and they still ain't sending my stuff. I
YouTube
reapplied
be
like
taxing, man.
3 weeks ago and they still have not like approved it. So I don't know. I'm waiting because I want to do super chats. Another thing we're gonna do
Super
because I
chats are
see it
gonna
on the comments. Go ahead, Jeff.
super chats are gonna help us get more players on,
Correct. I also noticed
which
that
is
some of y'all would
which
like,
is really what the super chats are gonna help out with.
for those of you who watch later and that don't go live with us, that you'd like to see the comments. So working on trying to see how we can do that. But also, I think there's an option for you to actually see the live chat as it's happening, like on your phone or computer. You just have to click it. So I think that you can do that as well. But single malt Scotch or bourbon?
JP, what's your choice? Mine's
Bourbon.
heavily obvious by now, I'm sure.
Bourbon, easily.
Yeah, it's bourbon.
Easily. We about to be drinking a
It's
lot of
bourbon.
bourbon in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's I went through a Scotch phase. I get it. I think it was one of those. I was trying to. I feel like almost like appear fancier than I was.
Mhm.
Like any young guy that starts drinking Scotch. Like
Mhm.
no 20-year-old's like perfect, love this stuff. Like you know what I mean. But bourbon all day.
Yep.
Um, you know, bourbon then rye. High end tequila, always good.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we'll be drinking them in Cincy. We'll definitely be going to New Riff on Friday
Oh yeah. It'll be
and
fun.
hopefully Saturday. They're gonna call me back.
Um, we do not have football. We're a small 1A school. We don't got football. We got everything else almost, but Not football, unfortunately. So Friday nights are normally volleyball in the fall or soccer, and then basketball in the winter.
You need to start getting some of them transfers in. Hit the
It's just,
portal.
hey, we're at our highest enrollment ever, which some of y'all might find it embarrassing, but we got 140 kids, so we'll take it.
140.
140. We're small
What's
but
that up
mighty.
from? When did you start? When did you
Four
start as
years
AD?
ago. 4 years ago.
What were you at then?
80.
Bro, it's big time growth.
Yeah. No, we're growing.
What was that
We have,
75% growth?
yeah, we're growing. When I was here, we had 5 varsity sports. Now we have 9. Or when I
Man,
before I
that
got here,
football
we
team's
had
coming,
5.
man. I can feel it. I can feel it.
Man, I need about 40 more dudes in this school. Our ratio is like 70 to 30, bro. It's like 70 girls to 30 boys. It's bad. It's bad.
Have some of them start identifying, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Get a
a law
football
school
team, man.
waiting to happen. Oh, that's funny.
Don't tell Ryan Walters.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Detroit just stuffed Kansas City on 3rd and 1. Now Detroit's getting the ball back with 5 minutes left, up by 1 with good field position. But yeah, 140, man. Hey, just another 4 more years. Just keep
Yeah.
that growth up. You'll be well to 250 by then, 300 maybe.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see what God has in store. I don't know. I hope to be here in 4 years. I like the school a lot. I went to school here for a little bit when I was younger, so I have a
Yeah,
vested interest. But as they say,
and
money
have those other
talks.
schools come calling.
Hey, I told you about this. I think a
Yep, you did.
friend, yeah, a friend of ours is an AD. A friend of the show is an AD in Orlando, and he offered me to come be his assistant AD. And I thought about it, but I thought hard about it. But God still has me here. I still like it. They give me a lot of flexibility. Like I've been here a long time today, even though I'm doing my show from here. I've been here since 7:30. So they told me I can come in at 1 tomorrow. They want me to be with my family. Like, I get a lot of other perks. So
Yeah, that's nice. Old Gunny says he would love to go to a school with that kind of ratio.
shut up, Gunny. Oh man. Oh, that's funny.
With that, I suppose we'll wrap it up.
With that, I'll wrap it up. Hey, actually, I do want to. This is a good question. Do you prefer
No,
pumpkin
it's
spice
not.
lattes with sky? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought he was asking something. Jacob, what? I thought he was asking, do you like Skyline chili?
I've never had Skyline chili. I'm looking forward to trying it.
Really? I actually kind of like Skyline chili. I'm not gonna lie. I There's a couple up here in Indy.
I'll go check. I'll try it twice.
Yeah, it may not be everybody's cup of tea, but I like it. I'm not saying I love it, but I like it. I eat it.
It's all stuff that I like. I mean, not to go total Joey Tribbiani here, but all that stuff's
Yeah.
good. So I mean, but no, on the pumpkin spice lattes, I don't even drink coffee. Last thing I'm going to drink is
Is it pumpkin spice lattes?
coffee dressed up
Didn't,
as a sorority girl.
didn't be that time. All right, guys. We appreciate y'all sticking with us, rocking with us. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. Make sure you follow the JP and Trav Show on Twitter.
What's so funny?
I'm
What's
trying to
that
see
at
what your
symbol?
sister said. I'm
Oh,
trying
never
to see
mind.
what
There
your
you go.
sister said. This is from Zach Bryan.
Yeah, he tweeted out an apology.
I don't know, Ash. That's a good question. How much was the bail?
Well, they've got to fund that new $2 billion entertainment park that they're trying to do. So I'm sure they're pulling over everybody and their mom,
Yeah.
trying to get those, that funding raised.
Yeah. Indeed. All right, y'all. We gonna head out of here. We appreciate y'all. Love y'all. We'll see you back here next Thursday, 9 p.m. Central Time. Hopefully, with a dub over SMU at the Palace on the Prairie, 6 p.m. Y'all have fun. Show up on Lindsay Street. Be ready to tailgate. I'll see y'all next week. Boomer.
Yep.